Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Alex and this is TechFlow. Guys, if you didn't know, on the 22nd, Apple had their WWDC, their keynote essentially, and they released a bunch of new software, one of them being iOS 14 for the iPhone. You guys have requested that I do a video about my top 5 favorite hidden features found in iOS 14. So let's get right into it. Huge shout out to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Guys, I have had, and as you know if you follow my social media, iOS 14 installed on my phone for the last week or so, and I've been diving around in it and I found a few cool hidden features that I don't think Apple mentioned on stage, and I'm going to dive into them today with you guys and then actually show you, if you want to, how to install iOS 14 yourself. So let's jump straight in to number 1. So there we guys go, you guys can see my home screen right there. Hopefully I've got a weather widget on screen. We're not going to talk about the main features of iOS 14. These are more of my favorite hidden features that Apple didn't talk about. The first one is to do with privacy and copying links. So if we go into Safari here and go ahead and just copy this URL, let's just say we want to copy this to paste it somewhere else. Okay, so I'm in Notes. I'm going to go ahead and now paste this in Notes. And this is the first feature. It's actually going to tell you with the drop down where the paste has come from. So as you guys could see, it said it came from Safari. Coming in at number 2, we've actually got some accessibility features, and one of them is really cool. It's called noise recognition, and I'm going to demo this for you guys. So if you head down to accessibility in settings, which has actually been moved from general to the main page, and then you scroll down here to sound recognition, and as you can see, I've turned it on, and now you can turn on loads of these different sound recognition. So if your phone hears like sirens or smoke alarms or fire engines, you've even got a toggle here for cats and dogs. I'm actually going to demo this right now and see if this works. Right, let me just go and grab some water quickly. Okay, so I'm going to place my phone here. Just off camera, I've got an empty cup and then I've got 2 cups of water. So let's see if we can actually make this work. It worked! It actually worked! That is mental! Oh, that is so good, it worked. I can't believe it actually works. That's the first time I've seen that happen. That is so funny. Just so you guys know I'm not doing any trickery here, I'm gonna try this again. Oh, it's not doing it now. Oh, I did it! I don't know why I find that really funny. I think that's an awesome feature, by the way, for let's say if you're hard of hearing and you want to know if there's a leak, there's some water running, or your dog's barking, or for example the doorbell rings, you can get a notification on your phone. Pretty cool. Now, as you guys know, I am a complete video freak. I love everything about cameras and video, and they've made some changes. One change in particular that I really like. So if we go back out of settings here, scroll down all the way to the camera app, click on record video, you can see that I'm currently set to 4K at 30 FPS. Now let's go out of here and go into the camera application, click on video. You can actually go ahead and change now the frame rate by tapping in the top corner. Can you see that? HD, 30, 60. Now there's a little bug where at the moment it's only working through HD, but what it will do is only change the frame rate. So if you're in 4K, it will keep it at 4K and change between 24, 30 and 60. And if you're in 1080p, it will change it between 30 and 60. So it's just an FPS change quickly on the fly in the camera app. Wasn't present before, really cool. Okay, so we actually stumbled on this next little trick by accident when I was messing around in the settings. So let's jump back into the settings, and as you can see, we're back where we were before in the FPS and video quality pane of the camera app. Now you can see the camera back button in the top corner. What you can go ahead and do is actually hold on this button and it will bring down a menu, and then you can jump back to the previous pages you were at. For a bit of a better demo of this, I'm going to go deeper into the settings. So let's go into General, and then let's go into Keyboard, and then let's go into Keyboards. And now if we click and hold on keyboard, you can see we get a little pane where we can quickly jump back to any of the previous settings panes we were on. I think that's pretty neat, and with a little bit of muscle memory over time, you'll be able to navigate the settings pane really, really quickly with this feature. Now this next one, and you may have heard of it, it's called back tap, and I think this should be a bigger feature than it is. For some reason it's hidden away in the accessibility settings in the phone. But here you go, back tap, we've got double tap and triple tap. Now I thought Apple would lock this down to sort of system things only, like launching system apps or, for example, the notification center. So if I double tap the back of my phone, just so you can see I'm not doing any magic tricks here, there you go, it launches the notification center. Pretty cool. But with the use of Siri shortcuts, you can actually get it to do loads more. So if I triple tap the back of my phone, you can see it's going to go ahead and open WhatsApp and specifically open my text chat to Jed, who is the TechFlow video editor. So hi Jed, obviously you're editing this right now. Hey bro, I just triple tapped my phone. He's gonna have no idea what's going on. But pretty much with the use of shortcuts, you can get these taps to pretty much do anything. So open WhatsApp, like my example there, maybe turn on the flashlight, open a certain app. Honestly, I think this is really, really cool. Okay, now this next one is just for peace of mind, and I've seen it pop up time and time again. And to demo this, what I'm gonna go ahead and do is open up the camera application and then click on video and start taking a video quickly here. There you go, there's my 3 cups. And now we're gonna stop this. Now, I'm not sure if you guys can see, but there's actually a green dot in the top corner of the phone. Now, the green dot symbols that the camera is currently being accessed. How cool is that? Now for demo's sake, I'm gonna go over to the new app library and search for memos and go into voice memos, and I'm gonna create a brand new voice memo right here. So hello, my name is Alex. We'll stop that, and as you can see, we had a orange dot in the top corner. Now that little orange dot symbols that, and you guessed it, the microphone is being used. And you can also access this information by going into your control center, and it will tell you, there you go, right at the top of the screen, voice memos recently used the microphone. So it's really useful for if you're, let's say, on a dodgy website, for example, you can see if the website is using the microphone or the camera just really quickly in the control center. Nice little peace of mind there. Okay, so this next feature I don't think was worded very well by Apple, and I think a lot of people are left confused, so I'm gonna try and explain this one. So if we go all the way over to the right of my home screen, we can find the app library, which is where all of the apps live. Now previously, and I think I'm like pretty much every other iPhone owner, we always have this page of folders at the end where we keep these apps that we sort of need but don't really want, but we have to have them anyway. For example, here if I go into the shopping folder, you can see I've got the Nando's app there. So what I'm gonna do is press and hold to go into wiggle mode, and now we can actually remove this app. And then we can actually click add to library. Now obviously this app was already in the library because it's where all of our apps live. But what I've actually done is gone ahead and hidden it so it's not here anymore, it's not in my home screen taking up valuable space, but if I want to find it, it is still in the app library. As you can see, Nando's, it's right there. So instead of it saying hide in app library, it should say something along the lines of delete it from your actual home screen, but it's still gonna be in app library, but a little bit shorter than that maybe. So when the actual full release of this software comes out, I'm gonna go ahead and do this to all of the apps that I don't want on my actual home screen, but still want sometimes, and they'll be there in the app library for me. Okay, coming up next, I've got something else that I found in the brand new app library. You can actually search by developer. So let's just say you forget the name of an app, but let's say you know it was made by Google. You can go over into the app library, just type up here Google, and it's gonna go ahead and show you all of the apps that are, well, made by Google. Pretty sweet, and just a quick little one that I found. Now, unfortunately, there wasn't many updates to the iPad with iOS 14, and the iPad is actually my favorite device from Apple, so it's quite a shame. One thing they did add though was shape recognition, so you can actually press and hold when you finish drawing a shape, and it'll actually make that shape proper, if that makes sense. What Apple didn't say, however, though, is this feature works on iPhone too. So to demo this, what I'm gonna go ahead and do is take a quick screenshot of my home screen so I can go ahead and mark it up. Let's just choose a new color here. Let's just choose red. And let's say I wanted to do an arrow, for example. So what you actually have to do is go ahead and draw your arrow like that, and then press and hold, and then there you go. It draws a perfect arrow for you. I stumbled on this again by accident, just messing around with my phone, and I really didn't think that they brought this to the iPhone as well. I thought it was just an iPad feature, but there you go. As you can see, it auto draws shapes on the iPhone. Now, I really like this next one, and I commend Apple for putting it in because I think this is a really powerful feature if used correctly. Now, tell me if I'm wrong, but I actually store and take photos of documents, and they all live in my Photos app, which is a little bit sketchy, I know. Now, I'm in the Photos app. I'm gonna go ahead and click on this picture here of my friend Brad playing golf. Now, if you swipe up on any picture, you actually get this opportunity here, and it's a little bit buggy, but as you can see, I've opened up a text field. This is actually so you can add text to the photo. Now, the text isn't going to appear on the photo, it's just sort of metadata tagging. So let's just pretend this was a photo of my passport, for example. I could put in here passport, click done in the top corner, and now if I was to go ahead and use the spotlight search on my iPhone and I typed in passport, it would bring up that photo. Really cool feature, and I'm gonna do this an awful lot because I take photos of my clients' server rooms and different things like that I need to go back to, and I've got like 8,000 odd photos on my phone. So just being able to type things in with metadata tags, I think is a really powerful feature if used correctly. Although it's a little bit buggy right now, it'll be fine in the proper release, I hope. I'm actually gonna drink one of these waters. Okay, coming up next, we've got picture in picture, but I know you knew about that already. This is more of a specific use case for this. Now, if you didn't know, if you wanted to listen to a YouTube video on an iPhone with the phone locked in your pocket, let's say you wanted to listen to some music, for example, you have to pay for YouTube Premium to have that work. Now, if you actually go ahead and load up the Safari webpage, mobile webpage version of YouTube, and I'm just gonna click on this song here.
What are you doing, Sergey? It's all automated. Ooh.
So I'm gonna load up this song here from Andrew Applepie, and what I'm gonna go ahead and do is put it in full screen mode, and then enter picture in picture, and then go to my home screen, right? Still playing. Now, if I go ahead and lock the phone, the audio is gonna stop, but now if I tap on the screen, I should be able to click play, and the music carries on playing. Don't need to pay for YouTube Premium. How cool is that? So cool, honestly. So there you guys have it. Those are a few features that I've found in my last few days of messing around with iOS 14 on my phone that Apple didn't release at the keynote. Next up, the next question I've been getting is, Alex, I want to install iOS 14. How do you do it? And to show you guys, I'm gonna pick up my iPad. What I don't think people know is this is super simple, and absolutely anybody, including you, can install iOS 14 right now. All you need to do on your device is go to the web browser, go to Google, type in Apple Developer, click on Apple Developer, and sign up for a developer account. That is literally it. Now, I must tell you guys that there's a one-off charge of £79.99 that Apple will charge you for a 1-year developer kit. And essentially with that kit, you can have access to all of Apple's developer tools like iOS 14, iPadOS 14, and also the new Mac Big Sur software, which I have installed on my Mac, but don't recommend you guys to install because it's super buggy. Dropbox doesn't even work on it, which is really annoying. If you guys have been using iOS 14 yourself and have found some hidden features, please make sure to post them down in the comments so I can see them, and people watching this video can also have a little read through and see what Apple missed out on the keynote and didn't tell us. But for now, we need to thank our video sponsor, Squarespace. If you guys have literally never heard of Squarespace before, and I'd be surprised if you haven't, they are the website where you can simply go to create your own website. Now, usually when you're doing these sorts of things, securing the domain is the hardest part, and the domain is literally the website name, so www.techflow.co.uk, for example. With Squarespace, they make everything super easy, from the actual design of your website all the way to the domain. They've got thousands of templates that you guys can choose from, and the websites are just stunning. I mean, heck, I use them myself. You can see an example of one of my personal websites that I built with Squarespace on screen right now. Building a website with Squarespace, though, is literally just the start, because with them you can do all sorts of different things. Like, you can even sell things on your Squarespace website. They've got a store built right in for you. As well as that, they also have really professional SEO, so you can go in and see how your website is going to appear on certain search engines like Google, and that is something that is really important for people actually discovering your website. They have different effects on there, so you can have things like pictures and text animate in. Honestly, guys, I use them myself. I can't recommend them enough, and if you guys would like to get 10% off while supporting what we do here at TechFlow, please use code TechFlow at checkout or go to squarespace.com/TechFlow for 10% off your first Squarespace purchase or domain. But for now, that's been my first little look at iOS 14, checking out some hidden features. I hope you've enjoyed. Mine has been Alex. This has been TechFlow, and we'll see you in the next one. Adios.